So there is one thing that I take very seriously on this channel, and that's saving you guys money whenever possible. And I've really tried to do that since the very beginning. I've always mainly stuck with designer fragrances first and foremost, and also I've tried to work in many cheapies throughout the years, and up until more recently, a good amount of clones as well. And that's because, as many of you may know, and you don't need anyone to tell you this, this hobby is expensive, and you do have to be careful. But instead of buying a bunch of niche products, you can actually branch out and pick up some clones that are going to be much more affordable. Now, these clones are all purchased by myself for the most part. Every now and then I'll get one for free from like Fragrance Buy or something like that. At that point, they just tell me that I can say whatever I want anyway. They don't care. They just want me to say, hey, this is from Fragrance Buy. A lot of them have been very good, but again, the bulk majority of them I've actually purchased myself. So just kind of want to throw that out there. A lot of niche stuff, they'll get sent out to channels for free, and then people will talk great about those niche products because, well, they have a bias because they got it for free. I decline most free niche things these days. In fact, pretty much all of it. And so I just try to stay away from that. And I try to bring you guys some very affordable options. You also don't need a reviewer like myself to tell you what you should or shouldn't purchase. A lot of these things are going to be off of a your mileage may vary basis here. So if I say something is good performing, it may not mean it's good performing on you. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to experiment and try some things out for yourself. I also try to save you money over on my community tab, so I will point you guys in that direction where you can pick up a lot of these things for great deals, posting some amazing deals over there that you don't want to miss out on. L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain for like $55. Acqua di Gio Profumo 180 ml for like $82, right? Just some examples of some things and some heavy savings that you can get by being subscribed and checking the community tab. I'm also doing $500 giveaways over there every month, so you can put some of that towards some of these 7 clones that I actually like better than their more expensive original. All of these clones are affordable, $30 and under. Some may be a bit more than that by a little, but we're really trying to keep it pretty affordable. All of these clones here are affordable or cheap, especially when compared to the original, okay? So we're saving a lot of money regardless. So I will provide links to these down below to discounters as well, so you can check them out or pick them up there. I want to get it started off with Insurrection 2 Wild. This one here, as you've probably heard, is very similar, if not a clone of Mugler's Pure Havane, which is discontinued. Now you can go on eBay and places like that and pick it up, right? I don't recommend doing that at all. Another one that this actually smells a little bit similar to is Xerjoff Naxos, which is not discontinued. You can pick that one up, with relative ease, although it's going to cost you. So instead of buying the discontinued Mugler, which is probably going for prices higher than Naxos, I would say if you're just on a budget and you don't want to spend still $150 plus for Naxos, to go for this one. I do have Naxos, I do have Pure Havane, and which one do I find myself gravitating towards the most? Believe it or not, I find myself really hitting this one pretty hard, especially in the fall and winter. I just think it's a little bit more wearable, a little bit more versatile, and for the price, you cannot go wrong. Next up, we have AFNAN TURATHI Blue. I just recently did a review on this one. You can check out a full review. I broke the entire thing down. Just to give you a really quick gist alt here, this was kind of getting a bit of hype, and people were saying it was a clone of Bleu de Chanel. And I broke that down and said that I don't really think it's a clone of Bleu de Chanel. I think it's a clone of Bulgari Tiger, which is a grapefruit prominent scent with a good amount of amber in there. And that's really what this one is. Grapefruit prominent. They list off citruses, but it's a good amount of grapefruit with a good dose of amber and some patchouli as well. And it smells great. Very strong performer, very gentlemanly, very masculine, and actually a little bit traditional. But what I do like about this one is that it does have a little bit of like a Bleu de Chanel twist sprinkled in there, although not enough to make it a clone. Now, compared to Bulgari Tiger, with the price point and actually the scent and the quality itself, I find myself liking this one more. I have a sample of Tiger. I've worn through that sample heavily, and I just really can't see myself buying an actual full bottle of it when I have this. That's how close they are, and that's how good this one is. Very heavy savings with this one as well, ROCHAS Moustache Eau de Parfum. Now, this one is very similar, if not a straight up clone of Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo, which at retail, you're looking at $250 plus tax and all that. And I don't remember what bottle size that is for. I can't remember for sure. It might be of the smaller bottle size. So very expensive at retail for that one, and you can't get it discounted really. This one usually is going to be around, I don't know, $45, $50 on discount or something like that. I will link it down below to the best price currently, but it's going to be somewhere around in there. Regardless, it's never going to be close to the price of the YSL, which is why I like this one a lot. Now, I do have a full bottle of the YSL. The only way I could afford it when I bought it a couple years ago was to split it out and decant it out. So I just have a small little bit, right? And so I find myself really just gravitating towards Moustache. I like how similar it is with the vanillic benzoin notes, and you even do get almost like a little bit of a patchouli smell like you do in Tux. But I just really think that for the bang for your buck, you can't go wrong. Performance is great, quality is next level, presentation is nice, and again, I just find myself reaching for this much more. Next up, HARAMAIN Amber Oud Ruby Edition. So this one is a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait with the almond accord, and it really completes this DNA in my opinion. I think it smells fantastic. And 540, I love it. Love the EDP, love the Extrait. Between the two DNAs, if I had to pick one, or someone was going to throw them both away or something ridiculous like that, it would be the Extrait. But when you're buying the real deal, the Extrait is significantly more expensive, and the EDP is already super expensive. So realistically, I would say for most of you guys out there, this would be the better option. I really do think that. Because I have a YouTube channel here, I can justify stuff like that. If I didn't, then I wouldn't. That being said, I've been wearing this one a lot more than the Extrait or the EDP, and I've had both of those for a long time. So this almost kind of just re-sparked that interest that I have in this DNA. I like this one because I can smell it better, and what I mean by that is the original two give me olfactory fatigue to a pretty heavy extent. This one still does a little, but not nearly as much. I just kind of find myself enjoying this one a little bit more, which is kind of crazy given that I paid significantly more for those other ones. It's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Lattafa Bade Al Oud, Oud for Glory. So it doesn't really take too much thought to figure out what this one is a clone of. Oud for Greatness by Initio. I love that fragrance. I think it's great. It's an oud scent that really isn't too overbearing. It's not too challenging, which I appreciate because I am not really into the super heavy oud scents. I can dabble with it. I like to kick a little bit of oud around here and there, but nothing to a super heavy extent. And this DNA is right there into that zone where I enjoy it thoroughly. What I do like about this clone, however, is that I also find it to be a little bit more wearable than the Initio. And when you also factor in the price point, being that this one is significantly more affordable, I feel like I can wear it more and just get more use out of it without blowing a huge hole in my wallet. I just find myself gravitating towards this one more when I want that DNA. And so if you guys want to save some money, you can't go wrong with this. Running down to the end, only 7 of them here. Second to last, we have AFNAN Highness Green, or Highness 3 Green, if you can see the Roman numerals down there. So what is this? Well, this, believe it or not, is a clone of Creed Royal Oud, which I really like a lot. I think Royal Oud is great. It's like out of stock everywhere. I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked into whether or not that's discontinued or anything. I'm not sure. But it's been one that I've enjoyed for many years. And it's all about cedarwood, believe it or not. Cedarwood comes first and oud comes like third. You know, there's a good dose of spices and pink pepper and stuff kind of after the cedarwood, but it's a dry masculine cedarwood, some spices, and in the example of this one, there's actually a green smell to it. So it's Royal Oud with a green quality that Royal Oud itself doesn't have. It doesn't really have as much of the greenness going on here as this one. So actually there is some sense to the name and the color of the bottle because it actually does have some green kind of woodsy tones to it that Royal Oud didn't really have in that same way. And so between the two, I actually really find myself liking Highness Green. I just like that it has a little bit of a different twist on that DNA. Actually is a little bit more smooth to me. I find it to be a little bit more enjoyable. And at the price point and the fact that you can actually buy this, even price aside, I don't know where you can buy Royal Oud right now. Maybe full retail at Creed, although I haven't looked. I don't know. eBay, it's marked way up. Discounter sold out. Just get this one. And we're going to finish this one off with Paris Corner Super Crush. So this, again, probably doesn't take too much thought. As soon as I saw the picture of this on Fragrance By, and this is one that I did purchase myself, as soon as it showed up, actually, you know what, now that I think about it, I don't think I saw a picture of it on Fragrance By. I think they stocked it in, but then on their website it was Super Crush, and so I just figured it's going to be Instant Crush because Paris Corner also has Cedrat Essence, which is Cedrat Boisé, so I just assumed. But when I started looking at pictures of it, and I saw the bottle, I'm like, oh yeah, so that does confirm it has to be Instant Crush by Mancera, and it is. So Instant Crush is great, and some could argue that this kind of goes down a rabbit hole. This is a clone of Instant Crush, and Instant Crush is a clone of BR540. I don't really subscribe to that too much. Instant Crush and this DNA is much sweeter, very heavy on the vanilla, and actually some oud. But what I like about this over Instant is that the vanilla in here and the dry down is stronger, the oud is less prevalent, and the saffron is actually a little bit dialed back in the dry down. So you just get a little bit more of a smooth sweetness in the dry down. Whereas with Instant Crush, you still do get kind of almost, I don't want to say a rough texture because it's not like rough or unnatural or synthetic, but a little bit more going on in a way that I just kind of like the added smoothness and sweetness and creaminess and well-roundedness of this clone. I think it's a really well done clone. I've done a review on this as well. Very affordable, great performer. It's an extrait, and I just kind of like this a little bit better. I found myself gravitating towards it a little bit more, which again, I think is kind of cool. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 7 cheap fragrance clones that I like more than the expensive original of these. So again, you know, just goes to show, even when you have the real deal, sometimes a clone will come along that tweaks it in just a way that you might like it more. And that's kind of what goes on here with these. You know, I really like how these smell, and I'm not ashamed to wear them. I don't care, right? And realistically, guys, if you're worried about that in real life, just tell the person that you're wearing Baccarat Rouge 540 or Xerjoff Naxos, right? If you're insecure about telling them, oh, it's a clone, it's cheap, tell them it's the real thing. Who cares? They're not going to know. They're probably not going to go buy it. They're not going to know the name of it when you walk away. They're going to forget and move on with their life. So if that's holding you back, just tell them it's the real thing. So if you want to save some money, I will drop links to these down below. I will see you over on my community tab where I'm posting deals every day. You don't want to miss those. You don't want to miss the giveaways either. Get subscribed if you would. We're on the road to 200K. Maybe we can hit that early on in 23. Who knows? We'll see. I can't do it without you guys. So I appreciate the support. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.